In the sleepy town of Pine Hollow, Georgia, Sunday mornings were sacred. The streets would empty, the shops would close, and the townspeople, young and old, would gather in the white-steepled church at the center of it all. And every Sunday, without fail, Pastor Elijah Matthews would step up to the pulpit with a warm smile, a well-worn Bible, and a message of hope that seemed to reach straight into people's hearts. He wasn't just a preacher, he was the town's compass, its comforter, its quiet leader. But on April 17th, 1977, something unthinkable happened. Pastor Matthews, who had never missed a single sermon in 12 years, vanished without a trace. No warning, no goodbyes. One moment he was shaking hands at the church door, and the next, he was gone. That Sunday, he had delivered a sermon titled The Watchman on the Wall, a message about vigilance, unseen dangers, and standing firm even when others falter. Congregants recalled his tone being more intense than usual, measured, emotional. He lingered longer than usual after service, chatting with members, hugging the children, even sitting in the pews for a while after most people had left. Around 6:15 p.m., he told his wife, Deborah, that he was heading out to check on a sick member of the congregation. He didn't name them. He just grabbed his coat, took his Bible, and left in his 1967 Buick Electra. That was the last time anyone saw him alive. By the next morning, concern turned into panic. Pastor Matthews never missed his Monday meetings. Calls to his home went unanswered. His car wasn't in the driveway. Deborah called the police before noon. A search party was quickly organized. Neighbors, church members, and local police officers combed the surrounding woods, ditches, and nearby roads. But there was nothing. No broken branches, no tire tracks, no evidence of a crash. The man who had been a fixture of the community simply disappeared. Rumors took root almost immediately. Some whispered that he'd run off with another woman. Others claimed he'd uncovered something, some scandal in the church that made him a target. There were even wild stories about secret societies and government involvement. But none of it led anywhere. No proof, no suspects, just a cold trail and a growing sense of dread. Deborah Matthews stood firm. Elijah wouldn't just leave, she told reporters. If he's not here, something happened to him. Years passed, then decades. The church tried to heal. A new pastor was appointed. But Elijah's absence never stopped haunting Pine Hollow. Every April 17th, a vigil was held. A candle was lit. A prayer said. The case faded from newspapers, but never from memory. His office at the church was kept almost exactly as he left it, dusty, quiet, undisturbed. A silent reminder of unanswered questions. Then, in the fall of 2002, 25 years after his disappearance, something extraordinary happened. A logger named Travis Dunley was clearing a patch of forest near Briar Ridge, just 6 miles from Pine Hollow. While cutting down an ancient pine tree, his chainsaw hit something strange, buried beneath a massive old stump. At first he thought it was just a large rock, but as he cleared away the dirt and roots, he uncovered the rusted roof of a car. Police were called immediately. When they excavated the area, they discovered the car was an old Buick Electra. Inside were human remains, still dressed in a black suit and tie. A Bible was resting on the passenger seat, perfectly preserved in a leather case. Dental records confirmed what everyone feared. It was Pastor Elijah Matthews. The most chilling discovery came from the glove compartment, a sealed envelope, yellowed with age, addressed to Deborah. Inside was a handwritten letter, dated April 16th, 1977. It was a confession, but not of guilt. Elijah had written that he feared for his life. In the weeks leading up to his disappearance, he had uncovered a financial scheme involving several prominent members of the church board: land acquisitions, money laundering, and false donations. He believed they were being watched and that someone had tampered with his car. He wrote, "If anything happens to me, it will be made to look like I disappeared willingly, but I have never run from anything in my life. If they find me, they'll bury me where no sermon can be heard again." Forensic evidence confirmed the car had been buried intentionally, likely with a bulldozer. The burial site was part of land that, in 1977, belonged to Deacon Harold Voss, a respected elder who had passed away in 1992. Voss had connections to construction firms and heavy machinery, but with both men dead, no charges could be filed. Authorities labeled the death as a likely homicide with insufficient evidence for prosecution. Still, the town had its answer. The pastor hadn't run. He had been silenced. The discovery shook Pine Hollow to its core. People who had once gossiped and speculated now stood in stunned silence. Deborah, who had never remarried, said, "Now I can finally bury my husband. Now I can stop wondering." At Elijah's long-delayed funeral, over 1,000 people attended, some driving from states away. His coffin was draped in white cloth, the same cloth that had covered the pulpit on the day he disappeared. His Bible, still intact, was placed on top. Pastor Matthews's story became national news. His letter was published in several newspapers and used in sermons across the country as a testament to courage, integrity, and the high price of truth. Pine Hollow renamed a park in his honor. A plaque was installed outside the church, in memory of Elijah Matthews, a watchman who never left his post. Even now, years later, people still visit his grave. They leave flowers. They whisper prayers. And every April 17th, the church bell tolls once for every year he was missing. Because though he preached every Sunday in life, in death, his silence became the loudest sermon Pine Hollow ever heard. If this story moved you, don't let Pastor Elijah's voice be silenced again. Hit that like button, subscribe for more real unsolved mysteries, and share this video to keep his legacy alive. What do you think really happened that night? Let us know in the comments below.